Come on in, sit back and relax. You're listening to episode 263 of the WealthTech Today podcast.
My guest for this episode was Terri Kallsen from Rise Growth. Terri has had a long history in the industry. Before Rise, she was COO at Wealth Enhancement Group. And before that, she was head of retail for Charles Schwab and managed the acquisition of over 60 RIAs. So she knows a thing or two about the M&A space. And before that, she worked at one of our clients, First Command. So she's been around quite a while and has seen a lot. And now she's bringing all that experience to Rise Growth. Now, a couple of things that we covered in our conversation, which you will hear, the answers to the following questions. How does Rise Growth make their investments in RIAs? What's the structure there? Do they have a standard tech stack, and what is it, if they have one? And what are some of the keys that they believe to building efficiency and scalability at Rise? So you're going to hear the answers to all those questions. But before we get there, talking about Rise Growth and talking about tech stacks, at Ezra Group, we've seen the tech stacks of hundreds of RIAs and broker-dealers. And let me tell you, most of them are loaded down with tech debt. Let's face it, tech debt can act like an anchor holding down your firm's efficiency and ability to scale. So if you want to free your firm for exponential growth, you need to run, not walk to our website, EzraGroup.com, and click the golden Contact Us button on the homepage. The experienced team at Ezra Group will evaluate your current tech ecosystem, deliver targeted recommendations, and we can then optimize your existing systems and operations, or run a vendor selection process and help you pick new software to get your firm to the next level. Ezra Group just makes RIA tech stacks better. You can take advantage of our free initial consultation by going to EzraGroup.com. Please check out our sponsor, the Invest in Others Charitable Foundation. You can find them at investinothers.org. Now, let's kick this thing off. And here we are. This is where I introduce our next guest. It is Terri Kallsen, Managing Partner at Rise Growth. Terri, I'm so happy you're here.
Thank you so much, Craig. It's great to be here today.
And where are you calling in from?
I'm calling in from the San Francisco Bay Area, Marin County, California. And I just have to say, it's a beautiful day. We get our best weather in the fall.
Are you trying to rub it in because it's all gray and cold here in New Jersey? Is that what you're saying?
Well, you know, I've been to New Jersey a lot, and I think the green hills and the beautiful trees are great. We don't have that here in California.
Yeah, I can see behind you. I see some green. So there's clearly some green going on there. Well, Terri, so happy you're here. Could you please give us a 30-second elevator pitch for Rise Growth?
Sure. Well, Rise Growth is really about synergistic innovation. It's really new to the RIA industry. We are minority investors that bring capital backed by Charles Bank, the private equity firm, but expertise, operational expertise. And when you look at our partnership team, we have over 100 years of experience in working with RIAs, in serving clients and serving advisors to really get to the best solution. So it's that combination that I believe is the very best. And we're looking for advisor teams that really want to grow and scale their business to serve more clients and meet more needs.
It's a tough business that you are in, Terri. There's a lot of firms out there pitching at RIAs to join them. So can you talk a little bit about, you mentioned you're minority investors. Can you talk a bit about the advantages there and some of the strengths that you guys bring to firms that agree to join Rise Growth?
Sure. Well, I've been in the wealth management industry for 30 years. I've watched this consolidation happen. And when I was at Charles Schwab, the head of the retail area, we bought over 60 RIAs during that time and put our name on them, put our systems in them, and they lost some control. They were a franchise RIA with the retail group. They lost some control of their business. When you are a 100% control buyer, the RIA that you acquire loses that control. Now, they still can grow, they can still serve clients, but there's a different board making some decisions. That's the difference. When we're a minority investor, Craig, we are with them in the Foxhole. I used to work with the military a lot. We're with them in the Foxhole, helping them point out challenges, concerns, and then accelerating their growth by our expertise in operations, in technology, in marketing, and overall branding.
And there was a recent announcement of an M&A deal you guys closed last month in New Jersey.
That's right. The
Can you talk
great
about that?
state of New Jersey. That's
The
right.
great state of New Jersey. So
Well,
which one was it?
I've been spending a lot of time in New Jersey, and Bleakley is the firm. They're a $10 billion firm. And what I love about Bleakley is that they are an advisor firm built by advisors. And they're really focused on centralized financial planning, centralized platform so that they can serve more clients and meet more needs. And the team there, the partnership team led by Andy and Scott Schwartz, are doing a phenomenal job recruiting, bringing people into their centralized systems so that they can leverage the tech stack and grow and serve more clients over time.
So Terri, you are a managing partner at Rise Growth. So take example the Bleakley acquisition. What does your role entail? How are you involved in all this?
Sure. Well, we have really two main teams at Rise, and we're a smaller group, right? Because we're only going to invest in 5 or 6 potential firms. So think about it as 2 areas. First of all, you have the pre-deal phase, the discovery, the compatibility to make sure the right culture, the right growth plans, the right strategy are there. We come together, we build LOI, and then a purchase agreement. So there's a team, and Joe Duran leads the whole team. He's out there working with RIAs, bringing people in, understanding their concerns. Once we get to LOI and we get to purchase agreement, I help Joe with that transfer and the team. Darius always does the pre-group. I do the post-group. So as they come into purchase agreement, I'm working with them based on their current accountability system, be it EOS or whatever they're using. We create a 5-year strategy of what we call a voyage together. And then we create monthly KPIs that we work with. And those are around organic growth goals, tech stack goals, leadership goals, and then sub-acquisition goals. That's what I do. And I coordinate that with, for example, Bleakley, Andy and Scott Schwartz, and we work on that together, and we create a board governance process, and we get everyone ready for the opportunity to grow exponentially.
That sounds awesome. I can see how that would be a great attractive force for firms like Bleakley that want to take part in that and want that operational improvement. But you mentioned Joe Duran, of course. So everyone knows him. He was on had him on the podcast, interviewed him last year. Right, so right when Rise Growth was starting. What's it like working for Joe? Give us the inside scoop.
You know, I think about Joe, I think about 3 things. First of all, his competency. Over 30 years in this industry, he's built a number of new businesses and sold them. Obviously, we know about AssetMark from GE. That was an original growth goal from Joe. Then obviously United Capital to Goldman Sachs, and then he led ACO at Goldman Sachs, and now he's out helping RA. So competency is number 1, his incredible ability to understand our clients, understand our partners, and provide solutions. The second thing is caring. He is incredible caring about our clients, about our partners, and about our community. He really wants to give back to the community, and I see it in him every day. And then the last piece is his confidence in his ability to solve big challenges that this industry has. He's very innovative. He's one of the best visionaries I've ever worked with. He sees things that I don't necessarily see on day one, but I open my eyes and I see what he sees, and I get energized by getting there. And when we can bring the whole community of RAs along with us, I think we can serve clients better, which again is the most important outcome.
Yeah, it was a great interview that I had with Joe, and every time I talk to him, I'm always learning something or hear him on stage speaking. I'm always picking up some little tidbits here and there. But
You know, one of the things that he's taught me is humility. I mean, I believe I was a humble person before I met him, but one of the things that Joe keeps emphasizing in his vision is where could I be wrong, right? So as we go through this, we're always asking, these are our assumptions. What could we be doing that could be wrong, that we need to redirect our journey or our voyage together? And working with someone that has a lot of great ideas, but doesn't necessarily tie to any particular answer is very refreshing for me at this point in my career.
One of the things we'd spoken about, I talked to Joe about this as well, is that Rise Growth doesn't offer a standard tech stack that you force these firms onto. You're very flexible. Can you talk about why you offer that flexibility and what's the benefits of it and some of the things you do to help firms grow if it's not specific technology solutions?
Right. So we look at the whole firm holistically, and the platform, the technology stack is one of the areas. But the other areas are obviously their organic growth, their inorganic growth, their leadership, and their geographical expansion opportunities. So there's tech stack is one of the things. So what we do, and we have a team of, I believe, just incredible tech stack technologists, expertise. Brian Shenson, who was from Charles Schwab and worked at BCG for many years, comes in and supports our groups. We also have Will Armenta, who actually has been in the tech business for many years, working with him. And then you have Joe, who has incredible experience in the tech stack. So, we don't actually have a tech stack that we say this is our requirement. We remain flexible in those areas. But what we do help them with is, as a part of that 5-year plan, we create a technology roadmap. And in that roadmap, we are working with them to make sure that we're building in scale, efficiency, and productivity for advisors. And really, the stats will tell you, Craig, that advisors spend up to 60 to 80% of their time not even working with clients. And so our job is to take technology and leverage that to create, I think, simple, elegant solutions around tech so that everyone can be more productive in serving clients.
I was looking back on my notes from my conversation with Joe last year, and one thing he was very insistent upon is that part of the tech stack of Rise was going to be integrated middleware, something that connects all the data from different components, rather, so you're not locked into whatever portfolio management RIA platform you're using, whether it's from Orion, Envestnet, SS&C. You have flexibility. Can you talk a little bit about middleware and how is it shaping how these firms are going to grow, and what operationally does it enhance?
Yeah. Well, Joe has been just incredible light around middleware and what it can do. So as a part of our technology roadmap that I talked about, we work with a firm like Bleakley or others, and we take a look at where their technology stack is and how we can leverage middleware. So middleware, in very simple terms, is just you're really combining your application layer with your operating system so that everything is integrated. So if you think about from an operation standpoint, if you have an advisor or client service manager having to enter data in for tax, data in for planning, data in for financial investing, and data in for any other purpose, that's a lot of time that has to be taken in order to do that. And especially when you integrate firms, right? So if a firm like Bleakley is going to acquire and partner with another firm, all of that data needs to be re-entered. So middleware will be a potential solution to stop what we call that swivel chair. You have to swivel from this system to this system to this system, which again takes more time, increases error rate, and really doesn't create the type of role that we want advisors and client service managers spending time with their clients. So, for example, Rise Growth is working, and Joe is really orchestrating this with Jiffy AI and Uncork for a customized solution for us, for our firms that we work with, like Bleakley, to bring in middleware into their systems as they acquire new firms. So all of that is integratable through their client relationship management system, such as Salesforce, for example. Salesforce, Orion, eMoney, Money Guide Pro, and then whatever tax applications they have, we can build that middleware system into it to be able to save time and create better consistency and communication with the client and with the advisor.
That makes a lot of sense. I'm familiar with Jiffy.ai. Babu Sivadasan is a good friend of mine, former Envestnet really smart guy, and they're doing some pretty incredible things over at Jiffy. So happy you're working with them for your middleware. So you mentioned a couple points there when it comes to how this middleware is going to help firms grow. Obviously, avoiding the swivel chair is important. Are there any other operational improvements or scalability that you are offering to firms that are coming on board at Rise?
Certainly. So, workflows and process flows are incredibly important. We're leveraging new technologies to help with process flows. So as we acquire firms, we can create the process to be able to help with central trading, central financial planning, and central tax. So that's one of the areas we're working with to do that. But I would also say, Craig, a couple other technologies that we're using to drive scale on an operational level is that there is a firm that we talked about, Domain Money is one of them, and this is a financial planning tool. And one of the things that I love about this is that it's basically a flat fee financial plan for those millennials that are looking for a simple plan or more complex plan. And it's all integrated. It's available on an app, and it really meets the needs, I think, which is a trend in this industry of the millennial generation. Now, the oldest millennial is 45 years old. So it's not that they're young anymore, but they're still younger. And then you have Generation Z after that, which, my kids are a part of. And so what one of the stats I wanted to share, which is alarming to me, is when you actually survey these beneficiaries of this wealth transfer, is 80-90% of them say, I'm not going with my parents' advisor. That should be sending alarm bells. And so we have to meet millennials and Generation Z where they are. And I do believe that there are tools out there like Domain Money that can help us do that. So it's not a full-fledged financial plan. It's a step towards that. And it's built on AI, artificial intelligence, pulling information in, providing proactive solutions to these clients, and doing it in a very cost-effective way, in a way that they can access their plan 24/7 whenever they want and need it.
That reminds me a lot of what Joe built when he was running United Capital, which was
That's right.
focusing on financial planning, focusing on simple tools that could deliver peace of mind, that could save time, and that would help customers of all shapes and sizes understand how their money is being managed, or how they should manage their money.
Craig, I think that this is an industry opportunity. I don't like to think about it as challenges, but if we said that everyone who wanted a financial plan could have access to a financial plan, a competent plan based on, integrity, which is, I'm on the CFP board, which is the goal that everybody wants a plan, should get a plan. So when you have younger generations coming up through the system, their idea of a financial plan is different than those of us in Generation X or baby boomers. And so what I get excited about is that the tools like Joe created at United Capital, or like Domain Money, it's a much more simplified plan that's accessible to them on an app, but it helps them make better decisions about their money. And what that does then, from an operational standpoint, is it saves the advisor time and the client service manager time, because they're not having to pull things up, go through it with them. Millennials, Generation Z, they want that information. They always ask for a second opinion, right? They have the internet right there. So it's a little different than our generation. And I believe some of these tools like Domain Money, like Wing is another example that we've used, that we really want to make sure that we're meeting this generation in the channel of their choice, and technology can help us do that.
Yeah, these are interesting tools, both Domain Money and Wing, in that they offer simplified financial plans as well as more detailed financial plans. So you can do a one-page or a comprehensive.
That's right. And so one of the things I wanted to just mention, Craig, is with the elements of AI and how that we're using that in investments, right, and proposal tools and potentially rebalancing, which is starting to happen out there and saving time. On the financial planning side, there are financial planning tools using AI, like some of the ones I've mentioned already, that can predict various things that are financial related, like a move, for example, that's coming up, like a marriage or divorce, right? There are certain things that using AI, you can start to predict these life events, like college funding needs, obviously, like generational wealth transfer. There's life events that happen that automatically can alert advisors to make sure they're reaching out at the right time on some of these. And this is something that I actually studied way back at USAA when we were a full digital channel before COVID, right? Everything we did, because we had members all over the world, we started to use data through IXI and other sources to predict certain life events, moves, children, marriages, divorces, retirement, living in retirement, so that we could help clients based on what their particular life stage was. That is definitely something that is already here, rudimentary, but will continue to grow in terms of saving advisors time, but creating delightful experiences for clients.
There's a great company that I'm on the board of called Intergen Data that's doing exactly that with life events, that they're using AI, machine learning, not generative AI, but machine learning and predictive analytics to show life events, usually negative life events. So could someone get ill for something based on their probability, based on their backgrounds, which is very helpful for planning if you're looking at long-term care insurance or other types of issues, which most financial planning tools don't cover.
Right. That's such an important component of our lives, right? Planning for morbidity or mortality. It's a reality we have to deal with. Well, wouldn't it be helpful for people to not take the mystery out of that, but to start planning for it, especially when it comes to caring for family members? I think that it would be critical. Again, another value add by the wealth management industry that no one else can do because we have access to all this data.
Exactly. Yeah, you need to have these tough conversations with clients. Nobody wants to talk about their own mortality. I know I don't, but you've got to have life insurance. You've got to look for long-term care insurance if you need that, and other. Depending on your issues, you may have predisposition to heart issues or diabetes or Alzheimer's or something, and depending on your family history. And it's important to know that rather than be unaware. Why wouldn't you want to be aware? And there's things you might be able to do to avoid or delay those issues.
That's exactly right. I mean, I think that's, again, another way we can use artificial intelligence to help people versus create fear for people, right? I mean, how many people retire at the age of 60, for example, and then by 63, something happens to them health-wise? Well, wouldn't it be helpful if we could actually start to work with people to make different decisions so they could enjoy their health for a longer period of time? Some people might think that's creepy. I don't know. But I do think the more people know, the better decisions they can make, Craig. And that's what I'm in this industry for, is to help people make better financial and life decisions.
Well, we can talk about AI being creepy all day. I just wanted to jump back and forth a second. So domain money, financial planning tool, that's for advisors to use with their clients.
That's right.
But Wing is a retail B2C financial planning mobile app.
That's right. But it also has a financial planning component to it as well, so that advisors can use it. But it has a really effective app to be able to help clients understand where their goals are at. Like, the other thing that I think Joe Duran brought to this industry is this concept of holistic financial planning based on goals versus just investment targets.
Right.
And so these financial planning tools do a really good job of tracking, here's where you said your goals are, be it retirement, be it risk management, and then here's where you are, red, yellow, green, right? Just like the rest of us evaluate different parts of our lives based on how we're doing, now we can set specific financial goals and then create the plan to do that, and then use an advisor as your coach to get there. And, Craig, I've run a lot of marathons in my life. I've run 21.
Wow.
in some of those marathons, I had a coach because I knew I needed help on a weekly basis to get me there. And so I paid for a coach in that case, and I still knew what the goal was, and we went on it together. But in other marathons, I knew I could do it on my own. There was, I had more time, I had more energy. And so in that case, I didn't pay an advisor or a coach to do that. And I think the same is true for financial planning and wealth management. Sometimes you really need it during those intense periods of time, and you have a coach. But the technology can help you without an advisor at times when you just have those things going on. And I think there's similarities in the industry.
Terri, we're running out of time. I wanted to squeeze in a couple more questions.
All
Can you
right.
talk about the roadmap? What's coming down the pike at Rise Growth around integrations, around middleware? What can you share with us?
Sure. So what we do with our offices like Bleakley is we create a 5-year roadmap. First and foremost, that's integration of their portfolio accounting systems. So we help them do that with a time frame of steps to take. And we accelerate that process because, I always think about that's kind of the longest pole in the tent is the integration of the portfolio accounting system. Then after that, we work on the middleware system, which will then improve their operational experience. And then we look at the back office and we implement various techniques to be able to serve really more advisors based on their current middleware system. And then we work on their financial planning tools and technology, like the 5-year roadmap. But it's sequentially, and we do it with them, not to them. I think that's the other difference with a minority investor is we work with them on the goals. We don't tell them to do anything because they're in charge.
That sounds like a very flexible point of view and a flexible way to work in business. So if there are any companies out there, any RIAs listening that are interested in connecting with you guys, where can they find out more information about Rise Growth?
Well, certainly our website, risegrowth.com, pretty easy and simple. I'd love for you to take a look at that. Email me at terri@risegrowth.com. I'm available, happy to talk you through what we can do and what's available to you. What I like to think about minority investing is it's one bite at the apple. You still get a second bite at another term. You're not giving everything away for the rest of your life.
That makes a lot of sense. And it's Terri with an I, Terri.
That's right. Thank you, Craig. Yes.
I want to make sure people don't send to the wrong email address. Some other Terri may start getting your email.
And I wouldn't get their emails. So
Exactly.
Great.
Terri, thank you so much for being here and sharing everything about Rise Growth.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Hey, it's Craig again. Here are my top 3 takeaways from this episode. Number 1, Rise Growth's approach is as a minority investor. They will invest up to 40% in RIA firms, which allow the owners to maintain control, and they will work collaboratively with them on a 5-year growth plan. And that growth plan includes technology strategy and a roadmap. Now, they don't mandate a specific tech stack, which is interesting. They want to maintain a lot of flexibility and allow RIAs to come into their ecosystem with their existing tech, and they don't require them to change. They're going to focus on improving advisor productivity and client experience, which in my mind means you need to change some of the tech if you're going to change the client experience. They are big on middleware and integration, which we love here at Ezra Group. They're working with firms Jiffy.ai and Uncork to develop customized middleware solutions with the goal of eliminating the swivel chair data entry across different systems. We love that. We do that as well. Enable smoother integrations for acquired firms' data. Awesome. So you've reached the end of another episode of the WealthTech Today podcast. Thanks for listening. But before you go, please head to our website, ezragroup.com, and scroll to the bottom of the homepage and sign up for our newsletter. Once a month, you'll receive an email chock full of wealth management goodness, news, information, and updates. You will not be disappointed. Thanks again for listening, and talk to you all again next time.